So welcome to ProfileTree TV, and today I'm very excited to join a new guest, and we're going to talk about TechMums. So Lauren, thank you very much for coming in and having a chat with us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Excellent. So for anyone who's watching this video, you would mind introducing yourself, telling us a little bit about your background and of course, TechMums.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much for having me again. My name is Lauren Allison. I am the CEO of TechMums. TechMums is a not-for-profit that works to support mums in becoming more familiar, confident, and really excited about the use of technology. So whether that's where they want to return to work and want to upskill, or they want to help their kids with their homework, or just interact with friends, we support them in that learning. It was founded by the famous computer scientist, Professor Sue Black. She has an OBE for her work. Amazing campaign 2C of Bletchley Park, which was the principal location of the Codebreakers in World War II, which is an amazing kind of social media story and behind that as well. And then also I am the executive director of Solby Media, which is a strategic communications organization that mostly works with tech companies that want to engage with non-technical audiences, whether that's their clients or their own employees.
Wow, so you're very busy.
Just a bit.
Brilliant. So I'm just like, where do we start? So I tell you what, let's start with TechMums, and then I definitely want to talk about IT and media and making tech easy for everyone to understand, because we're in the game, but we struggle sometimes. So we definitely chat on that as well.
Yeah, no, I think everyone does as well. But TechMums is a fantastic organization. I'm very, very grateful for the opportunity to have sort of been hired to make the organization more sustainable and scalable. But TechMums, what we do is we offer programs and services that support mums in learning about technology. And, you know, there's a lot of really great organizations out there that you could go do a coding class on, or retrain to be able to do SEO or whatever it is. But we actually look at basic digital fluency the whole way through to introduction to coding, web design, app design, all of that kind of good stuff. So we operate in a couple different ways. So one of the ways that we operate is we run something called TechMums Clubs, and those are 10-week programs, and we try to steer away from kind of academic language, because we're usually working with mums who they're there because they want to meet other mums and learn, but they don't necessarily want to go to a night school somewhere or do something like that. But it's a 10-week kind of meetup. I think my sister made the joke, it's like mums and tots, but it's mums and bots. And it's 2 hours over the course of 10 weeks where they our partner organizations, libraries, cooperative centers, community centers host mums to learn about. It starts with how to use email, how to use the Google Suite, and control your kind of collaborative tools, sharing, keep things online, your family photos, then how to stay safe online. So we look at how to prevent sort of falling for phishing attempts, setting safe passwords, keeping your kids safe online. We do return to work, how to use LinkedIn. How to put together a CV, where to look for work online as well, and how to sort of look for jobs with transferable skills, looking after your money online banking, what is open banking, and then we go through to what we say are kind of the more geeky topics, which is an introduction to app design, web design, and coding. And those are little bite-sized sessions. So the mums leave with maybe a website they've created in Wix on their website day, 2 hours cup of tea, other mums. Then on the app design, they leave with wireframes for an app that would serve their local community or groups of friends. And then with the coding, they learn a little bit of Python. We have our online Python controller, but also we delve into the history of programming and technology and how it was predominantly female-based at the start, whether we go from Ada Lovelace or Grace Hopper, go the whole way through. So our biggest marker in changes, obviously there's a massive change in terms of technical confidence, but the biggest marker is also always self-confidence. And today at a meeting to go through our last cohort, we had 60 mums. There was 3 clubs in Leeds and 2 clubs across Wales that were running during COVID. So we looked at that, and the biggest marker was self-confidence. It changes in mums. So they go from a 40% self-reported self-confidence up to just shy of an 80%. So yes, it's one of the things we do. We also have TechMums TV. which is an online series of episodes that we ran. It was last year. It's just before I started on as TechMums CEO, and it was with sponsored by Facebook, Nominate Trust, and Homestart UK. Series of hour-long episodes. I think there was 5 to 6 of them, where mums could engage and talk about different tech topics, sort of the topics that we'll cover in TechMums clubs as well. We reached over 300,000 mums, which is amazing. We had higher levels of engagement than David Beckham in one of them, which was also fantastic. So next time we're aiming for Justin Bieber levels. So yeah, we have that as well. And then we do a lot of consulting and ad hoc projects with organizations that want to be more inclusive and diverse in the way that they approach technology. And so we'll work on kind of joint projects like that. So that's kind of in a nutshell. We're small but very, very busy organization. But yeah, that's our work.
Incredible. Absolutely blown away. So, and actually when you're listing out the skills that you're training people on, I'm just thinking, my word, you couldn't have picked better areas to focus on. You know, online safety, you know, the spam things that come in, banking, LinkedIn, and CVs for getting back to work. Incredible. So you've obviously very carefully selected what you do. You think it's important to empower people then through technology?
So absolutely. So one of the questions that we get asked is, you know, why mums, right? And so we look at all of our different issues that we have in society, and we look at everything that is happening offline is now happening online. So you go to the shops in person, you can do that online too. You know, you interact with people offline. We're now doing that a lot more online as well. But that also means that there's bad things that happen offline that happen online. Someone steals your purse or your credit card. It can happen online too. So how do we make sure that people have the access to all of those, you know, essential services like contacting a doctor, but also the fun things like, you know, getting on a Zoom call with your family, but also do it in a safe way and feel empowered to do that too. And so when we look at all of the different issues that we have in society, so we've got the digital skills gap. And so that's people that don't have basic digital skills to be able to engage online or access services online. If we look just at the working adult population, and once again, this is pre-COVID, so goodness knows where we're at right now with that. But there are 5.4 million working adults who lack basic digital skills, and 61% of those are women. So we look at the digital skills gap and we're like, okay, well, women are our target there, and mothers in particular are our target there. We look at gender equality in tech, and sadly the statistics are not improving fast enough at all, and it traditionally was a female dominated area if you look back at original programming and things like that. We look at the need to have tech savvy families. You know, we're teaching kids how to code when they go home to get help with their homework. If your parent doesn't know how to help you with that homework, that's a big disadvantage. So we have all of these different things, and one of the things that we believe at TechMums is mums are the force multipliers in society. If you empower a mum, you end up having a ripple effect with her kids, her partner, her parents, you know, her grandparents if they're around, etc. So we really see the mums as we want to make the biggest impact as possible. Mums tend to be left behind in this type of thing. So if we target mums, then we're actually creating a more inclusive, fair society where everybody benefits from the stuff a lot of us take for granted.
Incredible. No, and again, you don't even realize, and I'm sure so many people don't know or don't know the history of where coding and all started, and how it was a female-dominated space, and I guess how that's changed. But we're all taking steps, hopefully, to change that moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially if you look at a lot of the history of programming in the US as well, you know, we're in the middle of Black Lives Matter. And if you look back, and I know there's been a few kind of media attentions on it, but Black women in particular were a massive, massive part of the original programmers, and got pushed out as well. And so there's a lot to kind of look at in there and see, you know, a lot of our mums will come in and say, oh, this isn't for me, I don't want to do that bit. And we build confidence up over the weeks and see that actually this was a women's thing, and this was your space. And if you want to get back into it, you totally can, you know. So it was traditionally seen as women's work, you know. Just
take it. It's there, and it's there to be taken. There's so much opportunity in tech.
Yeah, and the digital skills gap at the minute as well. I mean, I've lost track of the figures because there's so many of how much trillion in GDP is dropping because we don't have enough people to fill technical jobs. And it's not even just, you know, we need coders, we need people who are able to have the basic digital skills to interact with whatever software you have right now, or, you know, even if it is Zoom, sometimes it's easy enough. I've been on 2 calls today and we've had issues with it both times. You know, we're technical people. So yeah, there really is a need for people to reskill, and especially as kids are coming through, to have parents that support them in that and see the benefit of that is really important.
Yeah, oh, amazing, no, very good. And then obviously that's part of what you do. Then you've got your job as well that you work in. So tell us all about that.
Yeah, so I mainly work with mostly tech companies who want to engage with audiences that aren't technical. So you've probably heard of like a technical writer. So it's when you want to write something and you want to make sure that it is written well in good English and easy to understand. And I probably didn't use good English when I said any of that as well. But to have the writing skills, but also to understand the technical nuance, this is kind of a reverse of that. So how do you engage with audiences that are not that are maybe not as tech savvy as your development team, or you want to get them to adopt new programs, or you want to kind of chart their engagement to make sure that they're fully engaged with what you're doing. You know, one of the things that we found was, I kind of preach about this a lot, is we talk about artificial intelligence and robots and all of this as being really, really the best is when they sound like humans. Yet a lot of what we produce as humans sounds like robots. You know, so we will put out stuff like an automatic Zoom invite. It says one tap mobile. Now, what does that actually mean, right? Now, you can work it out that if you tap it on your mobile, but does it mean it's going to start the Zoom app? Does it mean that it's going to start a video call? Does it mean that you're automatically going to be unmuted? Do you still need to copy off that wee, you know, chain of numbers and put in the meeting ID and the password? And so it's like, you know, it'll take maybe 2 minutes to rewrite those and say, if you can't connect via the app and you would like to connect on your phone, you can poke here and I'll open up this and you'll be muted, or, you know, so it's about like, how do we make things a little bit more human? Because I think there also is a tendency for content at the minute to be very, I don't even think academic is the right word, but very fancy and very flowery. And it's like, what's plain English here so that someone actually understands it, so that you're not hitting the same audience every time. So you're engaging with people that can understand it on a human level. So I do a lot of strategic communications work like that. You know, how do you produce materials that your stakeholders or anyone that's invested in your business understands, and it really is meaningful, and it tells the story that you want to tell in a way that is still technically accurate but human. So that's
incredible. And obviously you're working in the tech industry. We've had COVID hit as well. Have you seen much change in your business and in the industry as a whole?
There seemed to be this real quick flip for let's go online. And, you know, one of the things was with my work and with TechMums, we were trying to do that too. So, but there was this nag at the back of my head going, people are doing this too quick and not with a lot of thought. And I know we're in emergency mode, so that's great. But now let's sort of look at what we're doing here, because with TechMums, we had 5 TechMums clubs running. TechMums clubs are in person. They are designed to be supported in-person learning. The reason for that is if you can just imagine, I'm sure a lot of people have had this happen over the course of quarantine. Imagine your family member that you can think of right now that isn't tech savvy, right? And conversations you may or may have avoided having with them to try and get them online, right? It is a major, major challenge. And a lot of it is because we don't remember what it's like, or have not experienced what it's like not to have certain things. So, you know, people are putting together solutions and they would say, open up your browser. Now, I know what a browser is. Someone listening to this might know what a browser is. Go tell your grandmother, open up your browser. You know, she may have a tablet and she may know that if she, you know, pokes on the multicolored ball, the internet opens. So let's go with that. Let's explain things in real English for people. So what we did with TechMums was, you know, everyone was like, oh, just put it all on Zoom. And for us, you know, luckily enough, our mums were halfway through a program and had met their trainers in person. But we had mums that didn't have internet at home. We had mums that didn't have devices at home. A couple of the clubs were donated iPads, which was, you know, a really great kind of option in there. But we had mums with range of different accessibility in terms of their devices, their internet speeds, their comfort with being on a video call, their understanding of mute, unmute. Then we had to train our trainers to get our training so that they understood, you know, we're using an online learning platform that we've developed. So for them to understand what's the best case scenario is everyone can navigate between the two things. Second best is you show it on screen and mums do it in their own time. And the worst case scenario, which isn't actually a bad case scenario, is you show the stuff and everyone just gets to chat, you know, and you have a couple one-on-one calls with people. And so we had to design a solution that then trained our mums. What is Zoom? How do we use Zoom? How to install Zoom? And get that to them while remote. Then get them confident enough to get on. Then troubleshoot the first session, because as we all know, like I don't know how many calls I start where I'm on mute still. You know, it's like Zoom bingo. So how do you design that so that you get mums and explain to mums, by the way, us using it all the time, we're still getting things wrong. So it's not you. Don't knock your confidence on this. Things happen. Sometimes in the middle of a Zoom call, something stops working or Google Meet crashes or whatever it is. So we had to design all of that. So a couple of sleepless nights, 4 days, held a training for the trainers, got the stuff out to the mums, and the majority of our mums were able to finish their program, which was amazing. About a week later, we actually were mentioned by an MP on the floor of the Houses of Parliament during one of the fiscal debates, just because we turned around a solution so quickly, but it wasn't just like, oh, here's Zoom, go do it, you know. And we've had a lot of push for people to say, oh, just run everything online, but we will be missing out. You know, we start with how to use email, you know, so, and to have our platform, you need an email. So it is quite tough. I've seen a lot of differences as well with businesses really sort of struggling with not understanding the different levels of engagement of their employees as well. Like, how much do they want? And I know, you know, we talked at the start there about, you know, last thing I want to do on a Saturday is another Zoom call with people on a social. Like, I want to be away from a laptop, you know. So for some employees, they want those random check-ins, they want the Google chat, they want you know, Slack messages. For others, they just want to get on with their work and give me a once a week call. And that can be very challenging for business leaders as well to navigate with their employees.
Yeah, you know, I'm just thinking the amount of technology, you know, technology is going to change everything, but we still have a challenge to get people online, especially those that aren't online and using technology today. So, wow, we've a bit of work to do.
Yeah, exactly.
And you see the technology, you know, you're in the cold face, you're facing, you know, the skill level of these, you know, the people that aren't using technology. Do you think we've a bigger challenge today to overcome?
I think I would say I am conscious and worried about everyone now assuming, because we all went through this collective quarantine, that everybody now knows how to use online tools and is online. You know, I think there's been a little bit of conversation about accessibility, and there's one of the initiatives that they've been giving out devices and targeting people without broadband, things like that. Devices.now is part of future.now. And I cannot do that without a Northern Irish accent, by the way. So anytime I say that to anybody else, it's like future.now now. Yeah, if you have a look at them and their work, they're getting devices in the hands of people that need them through organizations. So there's been a bit of a discussion on that. The truth of the matter is people are still being left behind. And if there is this sort of thing where, you know, in 2-3 months or a year's time, companies are going, well, everybody has Zoom. You know, it's the same thing whenever we started this, is everyone's like, well, everyone has a mobile phone. Not everybody does, you know. And I know for a lot of people that are homeschooling, you may have a laptop in your house, you may not. But even if you do have a laptop, is mum using it for her work? Is, you know, kid going through GCSEs, is that their time? You know, your little one who's going crazy and, you know, just wants hold of YouTube for 20 minutes. You know, it's not everybody has the level of kind of technological abilities and accessibilities and devices as many businesses have. you know, and a lot of us are very privileged in the sense that we have maybe a work phone and a home phone. You can give one to someone, but that's not the case for the majority of people, you know.
Yeah, and again, people, as you know, going through your day to day, you don't actually realize, you don't sometimes take time out to stop and think that there is a real digital divide out there. And actually, it's probably, you know, again, this is the first time I've even thought of it since this happened, that it's probably actually widened, because it's actually
Widened, yeah, it's widened, and then it's also, it's going to become a, you know, I was sort of hoping it would show people, hey, by the way, not everybody's online, but I think we kind of went for, and, you know, once again, it was emergency scenario, let's go for best case, right? So let's just do a thing and hope that it, you know, we'll do our best, which is all people could do, but now we've got an opportunity to do better. And I think that's really important because, you know, and it's sad to say, but it's also an economics thing as well for many businesses. You're going to be leaving behind a lot of customers if you're not looking at how do you make sure that you're designing things that are bringing people along with you. You know, if you're just assuming people online, then you're getting a smaller and smaller group, you know, that you're going to be targeting. But from a society level, you know, if we have right now, if you want to get a doctor's appointment or, you know, some of it is phone call, but now we're now looking at, okay, emails, portals online, any of the information that you're getting, you know, you're getting some of it maybe from a radio, but the most up to date is going to be if you hear that news update at 5 o'clock at night and you're going to bed at 10 o'clock and you're checking your phone, there's a new update. And so loads of people are being left behind on that crucial information as well. So yeah, it's an opportunity to do, we've done our best, let's now do better.
incredible. And do you see or think that isolation for some people, we actually are pushing more people to be isolated?
Yeah, we actually, so last year in June, July of last year, Capital One UK, they're our main corporate sponsor for TechMums. They kind of co-commissioned a piece of research with them looking at the impact of digital exclusion on mothers. And we have, I can send you the link to some of the news coverage of this as well. But the number of mums that thought that better digital skills would actually help their mental health, decrease isolation, etc., all of that stuff. The stats were staggering. And this was pre-COVID. So now, you know, even though we are connected with our devices and the internet is great for doing that and things like that, we've got increased physical isolation, and then on top of that, people who've been more isolated by the lack of ability to interact with people online as well, you know, and you have parents there at home homeschooling and, you know, trying to find solace with other mums and other dads. And yeah, I think, I mean, isolation itself is definitely increased during this time, but I think technological isolation is a big risk here, you know, and I think we also, we weren't equipped. We didn't equip everyone from a mental health perspective for not having physical contact and then having so much online. You know, I've been working remotely now since about 2013, 2014. And the last 3-4 months have been the most draining of my entire life. And it's not just the increased work demands. It's the constant online, you know, there's been a big push for video calls, which is great for interacting with people, but it is fatiguing, you know, it is absolutely exhausting. So I think that we didn't really, you know, we weren't all prepared mentally to step into this world. And that's the same for, you know, think of people who aren't working remotely and are having to homeschool remotely and set up playgroup on the iPad and, you know, constantly deal with that. And you have work in your house or you have school in your house coming into your space, which is where you disconnect, you know? So yeah, definitely think that as well.
Yeah, no, all these things that, you know, we take for granted and don't even realize, but real problems. And you mentioned as well, you know, about businesses and maybe even forgetting about some customers that aren't digital. Do you think that traditional businesses will have to digitally transform, and it's going to be hard? You want to digitally transform because that's maybe where the bulk of people are, but you can't forget so many customers. And then some businesses won't have that option; they'll have to stay traditional.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I've sort of been thinking about it, and I'm going, okay, so what would if I was a commercial business leader, right? In terms of I had a product or I had a service, I think for the ones that are going to stay online, I think now is the time to really invest in, okay, how do we make sure this is the most productive for us and the most safeguards for our employees, because your employee well-being hits your bottom line, right? So I think there's a big bit there. At TechMums, we've always advocated for flexible working, remote working, because these are all the barriers for mums returning to work. So now looking at it and going, okay, well, this is a thing. How do we make sure that, we'd always thought it was the future. We didn't expect it to be demonstrated this quickly. So how do you make sure you're doing that? I think, reaching out to organizations like TechMums and stuff for advice is really important. Because if you don't have experience for this, it's hard if you're a business owner to try and grapple with all of this. But you can do it. So reach out, Google's always your friend too. But there's a lot of stuff, if you're a Northern Irish business as well, Business Info and the e-business team and stuff, I think it's really, full disclosure, my dad's on the e-business team. So I know that there's a lot of really great resources for organizations there who do want to make it make their organization more, whether it's streamlined, remote, any of those things, as well. And if you look at it for the organizations that aren't going to do that, that need to be in person, they're obviously going to be looking at their safety, but you probably can still use technology in a way to make things easier on your employees and easier on your customers, whether it's you have a scheduling app in place to make scheduling of people coming into your place of work better. I'm also an AppSumo junkie. If people want to check it out as well, it's you can go online and build.
The shame I would, I'm gonna, as you're talking, I'm gonna check how many deals I've purchased on AppSumo. You're here we go. This is So you can explain what AppSumo is for anyone listening.
So AppSumo is amazing, especially if you are a small business owner, but it is basically a website that offers, they do product kind of overviews, but offer deals on, say, for instance, instead of buying a subscription to whether it's a piece of software that you design your advertising materials on, or you engage with your customers on, you maybe do a one-time deal and it'll be like £75, and that's your lifetime subscription to that service. So say, for instance, you're like, I have no idea how to, one of the things we were struggling with a couple of weeks ago is make a video, and you can sit and try and use any free software and stuff, and we went online and bought a subscription to, not a subscription, but a one-time purchase of something, made a professional video in 5-10 minutes. And they do product overviews, and you can connect with other people, see the reviews. But if you're a small business owner and you're going, how do I? They usually have a solution for it that's very, very easy and very user-friendly, and also very kind of non-tech friendly as well. So I think that's a good one. So if you are a business owner and you're thinking about, okay, well, we're not going to be 100% online, but we want to have a chat function so that our, say 4 days a week, our customer service people can actually be at home and they can use the chat function. It'll be on their phone. Go on to AppSumo and type in, customer service chat service, and they'll have something on there. And it's something that you can use and put on place, and it's always quite cost effective. I'm not endorsed by AppSumo. If you want to send me free stuff, go for it. But things like that. There are a lot of solutions, and I think I don't know whether it's maybe a Northern Irish thing, but sometimes I think, it's, if it's really professional fancy, it must cost a lot of money and it must be very American, or, I was based in America for a good chunk of time as well. So I kind of have that like blend of, it probably is fancy, but let's give it a go. And AppSumo usually has those. So.
I've just checked. So 60 deals I've purchased. So yes. So
deals.
No.
Awesome. So if you need any free subscriptions, that's where to go.
I think we're guilty as charged, but no, very good. So live and die by it. Yeah. So dangerous. That's my shopping habit exposed now. So very good. So no, brilliant. So see you on the AppSumo page for sure. But it's incredible. And there's amazing options out there to help businesses and grow and get over these humps that we're in. And you mentioned NI Business Info and sites like that. The information that is on those sites, and thinking of other council sites, incredible the amount of information and pathways you can go through. Just sometimes maybe even information overload, but there is some incredible sites out there that provide help and advice, which again, ourselves and I'm sure so many other businesses would be stuck without. And do you think then we talked about chat apps and everything else, businesses and engagement, you know, talking to people, talking to customers, talking to the staff. What do you think? And I know you're a writer, taking back to the tech and making it simple for people to understand. Are we missing a trick or a whole section that we should be focusing on?
It's funny you said information overload, because one of my biggest gripes during this pandemic thing has been, in terms of business, not in terms of life, has been the number of organizations that are emailing you helpful resources 10 times a week, which just makes you feel like a bad person, especially if they're like parent resources and you're getting 10 things you should be doing for your kids to help them deal with COVID. You know, at the very start, there were some organizations that I found, or companies that I found, were, you know, emailing way too quickly to promote their products. But also just, there's so many things already out there if people want to find them on how to do X, Y, Z. So unless you're really adding something that is going to be meaningful and useful and hasn't been said somewhere else, information overload is not helping. You know, like one of the things we're doing at TechMums is we're moving some mini modules online for mums, like say for instance, as we're getting less on the social distancing side of things, that maybe you could sit down with your mum and go through. But we're also putting together, instead of blasting people with, here's a resource for this, here's a resource for that, actually having a summer resource list of, here's an entire site. You go down, filter by what you want. You know, I want resources for helping out my kids, or, you know, like this, I want to reskill myself, rather than blast everyone with emails every 5 minutes saying, here's something else you're not doing, you know? So I think that's a big one. The other thing I think as well with the engagement side of things is there's an amazing female founder, Charmadean Reed, and really recommend people follow her on Twitter and Instagram, things like that too. She is the founder of Nails and Beauty Stack. And she has some really fantastic articles out about business in general and her experiences. But one of the things she talks about is, if you're designing a product or you're putting something together now, you really need to have your end user involved the whole way through. So we can hire the group that are going to help you out, give you advice, or hire the software developers. But if her example was, if you're walking into a room where you're developing an app for a 16-year-old girl, and everyone is sitting there and they're all guys in their 30s or 40s or whatever, she's like, when was the last time you were a 16-year-old girl? You know, and it's not saying that they won't be good at their job. They'll be good at their job, but they won't have the experience and that intuitiveness in there. So like at TechMums, we put together a mums advisory group. So whenever we're designing stuff, even though everything's designed with mums anyway, making sure that we're having mums' voices the whole way through the process. And I think that's really important in terms of engagement, especially from tech companies, is make sure you're engaging your audience. You know, does this make sense? Is this what you want? You know, ask, if you're a business and you're wanting to build content for people right now, just ask people what would be useful. You know, what's not useful. Instead of mailing out a MailChimp that's gone, here's 20 different this, that, the others, how about write to everyone and say, listen, this is what we're doing at the minute. We've got some resources available. What would be useful for you? Put it together and send it out. You know, listen. I think that's a really, really big one. You know, and we have talked about that whole aspect of make sure that you know that everyone isn't in the same spot, you know, and try and meet your audience where they are. And it's difficult because you do need to segment at some point.
Wow, no, incredible. And the example of the app, I haven't heard that before, but actually as soon as you're saying, I'm just going, wow, almighty. So I'm going to use that one a few times, I'm sure, in the future. But again, it makes perfect sense. Of course, you need the end user actually leading the process to get it right. Because, I'm wondering how many businesses develop and design have failed because they haven't actually done that. So that is an example.
And I think on the diversity and inclusion stuff as well, you know, I walked into a diversity and inclusion online learning event pre-COVID and walked in and everyone looked like me. I'm like, okay, well, this isn't going to work. You know, this is not where we need to be. You know, if you're trying to target different audiences, get more engagement, you need to have actually your audience involved, you know, and I think that's really important with people that, you know, a lot of, whether you're using different PR agencies or things like that as well, that's grand, but make sure that the room looks like and acts like your audience as well. Your expertise is only going to get you so far if it's not actually engaging with the audience that you want to engage with, you know.
Yeah, no, totally incredible. So we've a lot of work to do to sit back and think. But
I'm just giving everybody a list.
I know, my word, but no, it's very good, amazing. Well, no, again, thank you very much for your time today. But and before we quit, most important thing is if anyone watching this has been inspired or has got loads of things that they want to find out about and do. What's the best way to find out about TechMums and then to find out about your business and connect and maybe see what you're doing online?
Yeah, fabulous. So TechMums is techmums.co, not .com, not .co.uk, just co. You can go on there. Shameless plug, we are running a fundraiser at the minute to put more of our modules online and reach more of our mums, especially during the upcoming summer break. So you will see a donate button. You can go there. I think it's bit.ly/support TechMums. So bit.ly/TechMums, support TechMums. So always grateful for any support in there too. If you'd like to connect with me, also TechMums is on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. You'll find most of it by typing in TechMums, all small, and it'll be there. If you want to connect with me, I am on Twitter on _ Lauren Allison. That's 2 L's _ at the end because somebody else had took my name. And if you want to learn about more about me and my business as well, totally open to emails. It's Lauren at Sulby, SULBY .media, MEDIA, no.com in the end, UGTLD. So that's us. I think I've given you all of our various tags in there. But yeah, you can usually anything you type in TechMums, you'll either find me or TechMums. So go for it.
Incredible. No, again, Lauren, thank you very much for your time today. That was brilliant. And what we'll do is we make sure, so anyone watching this video, please look underneath the video, wherever it's placed, and you find links to all those sites. Exactly. So no, you're not going to be hard to find at all. So again, no, thank you very much for your time today. Really appreciate it.
No worries. Thank you very much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Excellent. And thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed today's chat. If you did, why not share it on your social networks? And we'll see you in the next video. Thank you again.